How are you today? My name is Eva. I'm the director of the Scottish Yarn Festival and also of the Scottish Wool Producer Showcase. The latter event is just about to come up at the end of this month, the 25th of March, and it will be taking place at the Dewar Centre in Perth. Tickets are currently available, although there are not many left at all, from the Scottish Yarn Festival website. Today I'm going to be joined by Susan from the Journal of Scottish Yarns. I'm just going to send her an invite to join us just now, so please bear with me while we try and do that bit. I can see invite. Fingers crossed that the connections stay. Ta-da!
Yay,
there we go.
Over there.
How are you today, Susan?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, not bad. A bit tired, I have to say, but things are all coming together well. And I put some slap on for you, so we appreciate it.
You didn't need to do that. You're gorgeous as you are.
Oh, thanks very much.
Although I have just gone and had a shower and washed and dried my hair before joining you today. It's no one sees the unglamorous part that goes on behind the scenes, and you're just trying to reach deadlines and produce copy and do all that sort of thing.
Well, but if you don't have to be dressed for it, yeah, actually.
Well, pyjamas.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, well, I'm sure you were cosy and comfortable. That's the main thing. More creative.
Absolutely. So, hello, welcome everyone who's joining us. For those who maybe don't know who you are, Susan, would you like to just do a quick introduction about yourself and what it is that you do?
Sure, yes. So I'm the publishing editor, I think is the correct title, which sounds very grand, of the Journal of Scottish Yarns, which the first issue was just out last early June, actually, and then the second issue in November. And the third issue as well underway. It's all coming together just now and is coming out at the end of May. And actually issues 4 and 5 are all becoming nicely planned out as well. It's really lovely as I'm starting to meet people like yourself and just get to know people. I've had a few people contacting me to contribute articles and designs actually for future issues, which has just been wonderful. So I'm beginning to get to know a community of people, which you've been in since, what was it, 2016 you started?
Yeah, it feels like yesterday sometimes, but yeah, 2016 we've been going.
Yeah, no, so that's it. So it's half, I aim for anyway, even to the point of page count, but that's a bit geekish, that it's half, so the dog's just been fed in the background, he's very hungry, and very cute, luckily. So I aim
that's wonderful.
Life goes on around you, doesn't it? So I aim for sort of half articles about Scottish textiles. I mean, because I'm a passionate knitter and crocheter, inevitably a lot of the articles to date have been about wool, and a lot of the patterns, which is the other half. So I commission designs, and a lot of the majority have been knitting, but I always make sure that there's at least 3 crochet patterns and 1 other craft. So we've had crewel work and embroidery so far, which were by Susie Finlayson, who's one of the guides at the Great Tapestry of Scotland and Galish Hills. And I'm really excited about what's coming up, which, well, actually, no, I'll tell you, there's a bit of weaving. Have you ever used a pin loom? They're just tiny little looms about that size.
I have, yeah.
So I've got one, but I've not used it yet, and I have absolutely promised that I will, and in fact, to test the pattern for the design that's going to be in issue 3, I absolutely have to learn how to use this pin loom. So I'll be sharing that journey. But yeah, and I try to make sure that there's at least 1 other craft. So I'm very excited about what's coming up. And what I will tell you, this is hot off the presses and I haven't revealed this yet, is issue 3, since it's spring summer this year, is going to have a bit of a focus on linen. It's really interesting, both the history of linen in Scotland, but also just what's happening today. It's an amazing regenerative fibre. And just started to meet the people who are doing some work around that and start to get involved, because of course wool is another amazing regenerative fibre. So anyway, I could go on forever, and a lot of the people that you've got at the Wool Producer Showcase are doing amazing things with Scottish wool.
They are, and I was just thinking there about Lynn, and it's like I think I might know who you're working with, but
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not about
you
to go
will.
and spoil that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because you've got to keep some secrets in reserve and kind of drip things out, don't you? But yeah, there is a lot that's going on in Scotland at the minute. I think we're just starting to all kind of join up again, and support one another, and it's a fantastic time to be within the Scottish textile industry. I think all doing our little bits and pieces. And you've been involved with the Scottish Parliament recently as well, haven't you?
Yes, so I pulled together, it started probably naively from, in fact, definitely naively from me thinking, what's the Scottish Government doing to support Scottish textiles, which came out of a conversation that I had with Di Gilpin as a feature on Di and her amazing career to date in issue 2. And we were chatting about this and thought, oh, well, let's just ask. So this then turned into a meeting, and a group of us, including amazing people from, well, actually John Ennis from Journeys in Design, who might be the London person you were thinking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, might be.
Might have been.
Some Lynn Abrams from Feast of Fashion at Glasgow University, somebody from Heriot Watt, Textiles and Design, then a lady actually who runs the Scottish Textile Showcase on St Mary Street, an absolute lifelong passion into Scottish textiles. Who else? Lynn Wilson, who's a specialist in circular economy, just finished her PhD in that. So there was a group of us who went and spoke to Lorna Slater, who's the MSP and Minister for Green Skills, Circular Economy and Biodiversity. And it was amazing. I mean, as we suspected, there's very little going on in terms of support from the Scottish Government.
Yeah.
And part of the reason for that, and I suppose choose words carefully because we want to be supportive and positive, and it's what we do going forward. But part of the reason for that is that there's no link between agriculture and textiles. So whether we're talking about flax or whether we're talking about wool, there is an assumption that Scottish wool isn't high enough quality to do anything with. Okay, and actually on the back of that, and you have a number of them at the Wool Producers Showcase. There are at
Yeah,
least
it's like
40.
just all to bite my tongue here, Shanna.
So just the responses I had to a couple of Instagram posts, there are at least 40 farmers, crofters groups that have got together who are having Scottish wool spun into amazing yarn and selling it, and there will be more. And what we also want to do is find out who's doing other things. So
Yeah.
like the insulation, the duvets, the mattresses, and so on and so forth. So there was that. So Lorna suggested that actually somebody from our group, maybe several people, actually start to get
That's
involved.
going to be you then.
No, I don't think it is. I mean, we're working out exactly how to organise ourselves.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the other suggestions actually was, and I'm slightly embarrassed to say this, but she said we need a lobbying group for regenerative fibres in Scotland. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and it's really, when you think lobbying, you think some of the more nasty commercial things, but actually, if there's nobody shouting for Scottish wool regenerative fibres, then of course it's not going to be on anybody's radar, and because of assumptions that it's not, that our wool is not high enough quality, which now we need to dispel those myths. Not a lot has been happening, but absolutely pushing on an open door is just quite a lot of work that we need to do to make sure that we are starting a momentum and then maintaining it, because the worst thing would be that one person starts something and then they're not available anymore and then it just disappears. There has to be more of a groundswell, and well, more than 40 people, as I say, doing stuff with Scottish wool, and there will be a lot more. Well, you know.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, that was sorry. One other thing, please. So there's a new organisation. Actually, we're really lucky that Fibershed Scotland has just got the affiliation with the international group. So there's a really interesting opportunity there, actually, in terms of how do you organise yourself, what do you do. So it's really exciting, just work out how to tie all this together, use the opportunities in academia and so on and so forth.
I think the
Yeah,
problem is that you're asking people to then go on and create a lobbying group that have already got extremely heavy workloads
yeah,
and what they're already doing, who are already taking a cut in real term wages because of the current state of the economy and cost of living crisis, and then you're
yeah,
asking them to do more unpaid work at this time in the hopes that,
yeah,
10 years down the line, longer, it will start to pay off. It's going to be a long-term investment in that sort of labour, but
yeah.
it would be amazing to see if we can get that going. And we do I've got quite an extensive waiting list for the Scottish Show, just a showcase in terms of vendors this year. I
Oh
haven't been able
wow.
to bring everyone in. So let's just see how it goes, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
in,
really
in like
good
2 weeks' time
point.
now.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
know
then
it's
yeah.
wonderful, but it's a really good point because it's people who are already working who might better place. For example, academics who are already doing research
Yeah.
in this space, but it's making sure that the people who are raising the sheep, who are already over busy, looking after the health of animals or fields, um, it's doing what we can. But if the only thing I do is to share stories and get people together and join dots, I'll be delighted. But I will do my best to represent, do whatever I can there. So yeah. Anyway, extremely exciting. Watch the space. What do we do next? And loads more stories to share in future issues as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. No,
Yeah.
it's been so exciting to kind of be part of your journey and see what you're doing,
Mm.
and then to kind of hear that you were doing this as well. You're absolutely a force of nature. It's a privilege to know you.
Thank
So
you.
shall we? That's not why people are tuned in, although it is extremely interesting,
Mm.
and we'll keep people updated as well. But
Yeah, we'll
let's
do.
talk about, you're coming to the showcase in 2 weeks' time now.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
goodness. What do you want to talk about in terms of that? Have you got anything you'd like to show us? Any sort of sneak peeks, any samples? The floor's
bring
yours.
bring the yarn up. Actually, that's the nicest idea. Yeah, no. So what I'll have. So issue 3 is not out yet, but what I'm going to do is there's a couple of the vendors there who on the 25th who are actually have provided yarn for designs that are in issue 3. So what I'll do is I'll get organised and I'll try to bring with me, with their permission and the designer's permission, the designs that use their yarn, because I think
Oh,
that's really
lovely.
exciting. But what I'll have, because issue 3 won't be out yet, and I won't be starting pre-orders for that until the end of April. But I will have issues 1 and 2 with me, plenty of copies. And what I'll also do is I'll bring with me some yarn for kits, and of course have all the samples from issue 1 and 2. And this one that I waved earlier, this is the Silly Sheep Fibre Company, who were at the Perth Festival of Yarn as it was last year. And Maddie Harvey actually designed this shawl, which is absolutely gorgeous, using her lace weight. So yeah.
That's the image that I went and stole because I loved it so much.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, no,
I'm put it in a collage for you to advertise that you're coming this year. Yeah.
yes, thank you. I noticed that. That was taken in a very, very nice family holiday in Beaujolais last year. It was a very special time. Anyway, thank you for choosing that picture. So I've got a very, very small amount of the lace weight from Becky with me. But the other vendors there, so for example, Lammermuir, her lace weight is very similar. And in fact, somebody bought, I think it was lace weight even from Ripple's Craft to make this at
And
your event in September.
yeah, I believe that, I don't know if it's new or whether I'm just noticing it for the first time, but We County Yarns now has a Kinross lace weight as
Perfect.
well as a Kinross 4-ply as well. So it's lovely again to see that diversification away from kind of 4-ply or DK to have other yarn weights within Scottish wool as well, as opposed to those kind of traditional ones.
Yeah, oh, that'll be amazing because the Kinross is beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
It
And
really
this,
is, yeah.
I must admit, I was a bit daunted because this uses 400-gram balls or skeins of lace weight, but I made the darker sample, and it was just a joy to make. It really was, and passed faster. Oh, I'm so excited about seeing that yarn now. Oh, can't wait. Luckily, my sister's coming here with me to help vend, so I'm hoping to get round everybody
Brilliant.
Yes,
Just stick it down the shopping list.
exactly. Get there early and set up early, and then go and haunt people. Yeah. The
Yeah.
other thing is, so I've got the mitts from issue 1, the crocheted mitts. I
Oh,
have as so these use Rennie's Super Soft, which We County Yarn sells. So that's her mini balls, so you can play with lots of colours. I've got a few colours which I'll bring with me, and I managed to get some hold of more of this jade colour, which is the green. But as I say, mini balls from We County Yarn's perfect for that. And then the other thing which I'm hoping to bring is for this hat. This is made in, I love this. This is the first pattern that she's known as Pixie Woo Felt on Instagram, the first pattern that she ever wrote down. She actually, I must ask her, it's Louise Mossam her name is, she has knitted hats, I think pretty much freestyle, but using Fair patterns. And she sells them, these unique creations on Etsy. But she designed this for me, and she is actually, I've asked her to design a hat for issue 4 as well, which I just saw a photograph of the other day. She just, how she puts together the motifs and the colours is just incredible. But anyway,
gorgeous.
this is Jameson's of Shetland, and I'm just waiting for them to send me actually enough yarn for some kits for this. And with their permission, I'm hoping to split balls, so basically you're not having to buy whole balls because it uses 8 colours.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to try. But this would work at any 4-ply. Yeah, I'm playing with colours. So there's a couple of pictures actually on Ravelry where people have made it and used different yarn for it. So yeah, so that's some of what I'll have with me. But just looking forward to seeing everybody and chatting. And I think some of the people who are involved in setting up Fibre Shed are coming over. So they may
They
not
are.
be crafters, but they're coming because you've created this gathering of Scottish wool people. So I just think that's amazing. So get the coffee on.
Yeah. I mean, they've sent me a couple of emails recently. I'm going to out
Brilliant.
myself here. They have, and I'm sure that you can appreciate. I'm going to have to give them apologies because it's not like me, but sort of bringing the last of the organisation for the
Yeah.
showcase into fruition at the same time as having a rebrand
Yeah.
for everything and launching the vendor applications and going through all those and closing them all being at the one time. Never mind what might be happening in my personal life and family life has left me, right, what else is urgent that I need to be dealing with at the minute? So I do need to
Yeah.
kind of speak to them because they have reached out and they are doing some fabulous work and I am aware that they're coming. So I'm hoping that they do get the chance to kind of have a quick chat with me while we're there as well, saying that we have sold significantly more tickets for this year than we did for last year. So I'm not sure how available I'm going to be to talk on the day, but it's nice to even just have a quick, oh, hi, by the way, and I'll send you a wee email afterwards and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's part of what I love about our events, that we do bring people together, we help facilitate relationships and partnerships and yeah.
Well, actually you mentioned that and that sort of responsiveness, but one of the things I'm picking up, and it's something actually John Ennis said recently that made me think of this whole thing about seasonality and moving slower with the seasons. And it's like you may, well, in enough of a community and conversations like this, and hopefully there's a bit of an audience here as well, word gets round and they'll know that you're thinking of them, and you don't have to have responded within, a day, a week, a month. They're
Yeah.
there and they're hopefully here for the long term as well as are you. So
No, I just think it's a respectful thing
Yeah,
to
true, true.
respond within
Yeah,
a certain time scale. But
true.
I'm sure anyone kind of watching at the minute, I think, can understand it. Obviously,
Oh
that
yeah,
there's been a lot that's been going on, and I'm having to be there for a lot of people right
yeah, of course.
now.
Yeah,
That duty of care kind of lies heavily, but it's amazing to see what they're doing. And I think Ellen Kalukshik, Ellen there, she's saying can't wait to see both of us. We can't wait to see her as well and what she's doing now with Harris Tweed and things like that, doing a
yeah.
bit more work there. So it's all exciting. It's really, really exciting. And I mean, your sample pile must just be growing. Dare I ask, how many samples are you homing at the moment?
What you mean for issue 3 or just generally?
No, I meant just in general
Oh
since you
right,
started up
okay.
magazine.
Yeah, it must be. must be getting on for 30, yeah, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, and I have doubles of everything because I like to be able to show everything in at least 2 colourways.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, but my secret fantasy would be a yarn ball pit, which I revealed the other day. So I suppose, yeah, yeah,
Let's make that
yeah.
happen.
Oh, it'd be so much fun. Yeah. Anyway, oh no, I love it. I love it. But I'm getting to the point, which is also extremely nice because it's nearly coming up to the anniversary of issue 1, where I'll return the designer samples to them, which is probably what
Okay.
all publications with designs in them do. But because I've got 2 samples and I've made one, or my sister's helped me, or somebody else has helped me hold on to the second one. So yes, just lovely, love it.
Oh, it's
See how much yarn I can go home with myself after after
like,
the event 2 weeks.
we will help. I think Fine Yarns is saying yarn ball pit bliss. I think the closest thing I've ever seen to an actual yarn ball pit was I went out to Vogue Knitting Live. To want to say it was 2018 when I went. I think it must have been 2018, or it might have been just at the beginning of 2019. And the Moshi Moshi Land people actually created like a ball pit, but it was all their little arigurumis, tiny, tiny little arigurumis. And it's like I wasn't brave enough that you could actually get in and do your thing in amongst all these. It's like, yeah, I couldn't, but it was just like, oh my goodness, that just looks like the best thing ever.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I think the only thing which is the practical side is you think if you have all those balls, think of all those ends that are going to get tangled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get too practical with your fantasy, so can't you? So let's not go there.
Susan, it's been an absolute joy talking to you today. And I would encourage anybody who is watching, who's maybe you're in Scotland, you're a yarn producer, or you're an up and coming designer, and you're maybe just feeling, I don't know, there seems to be a lot of imposter syndrome within our industry, and I think we need to remember sometimes that there's an industry element and then there's a community element, and within the community there's the Instagram community, there's YouTube community, there's the Ravel communities, and there is intersections of all these things. But don't let the fact that you're emerging hold you back. Reach out. The worst that can happen is someone says maybe no, not at this time, but there are so many people out there that you're an extremely busy woman. I'm kind of busy as well, more so at times, and we do our best to stay on top of everything, but we can't possibly do that. So do reach out through our websites. That's usually the best way, through a contact page and an email on the website, as opposed to kind of social media. Let us know that you're out there. So yeah, any budding Scottish wool producers, designers, reach out to the Journal of Scottish Yarns, reach out to me as well if you want, and yeah, let's see what we can do.
Yeah, I've had some people who've reached out to me, for example, to write articles for future issues, and you'll start to see that in issue 3, but I'm just over the moon by what they're covering. And they're, yes, absolutely reach out. The worst that can happen is that we have a coffee and a bit of cake.
Yeah.
If possible. Yeah. And reaching out is how Louise's hat came to fruition, and just isn't that beautiful? Yeah, it's just lovely.
It's gorgeous. So yeah, please don't let the nerves put you off. Just reach out if it's something that you're passionate about and you've got something to kind of contribute. Yeah,
one thing leads to another.
It really, really does. So, Susan, I can't wait to see you. Can't wait to see everyone. I will let you get on with your afternoon, but it's just been a joy talking to you. Thank you, everyone who's joined in. I will go and save this on my grid at the moment, and I'll invite you as a contributor as well, Susan, so you can go and add it to your grid as well. So you can go back if you've missed part of it. Give us a couple of minutes just to kind of do all the spiel and all the tags and get it uploaded. But you can go back and watch it later on at your leisure, or just later on in the day if you've missed it live. But we will see you in just a smidge over 2 weeks.
Yeah, 25th, 2 weeks tomorrow.
2 weeks tomorrow.
Oh, can't wait.
Goodbye.
Looking forward to it. See you later.
It's going to be brilliant. I'll see you later on. Bye bye now, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.